Hello, everyone. I'm Catherine Prather with NTA, and thank you so much for being here with us today. I know that we don't want to look back in 2020. We only want to look forward, but I do want to take us back to May because that's when our team was looking at travel exchange, and just with all the uncertainty in our world, we knew that we needed to make a change so that we could get together our NTA community. That's really what you all need more than anything. And we also needed a way that we could protect your health and safety and give you a cost-effective way to come together. So that's why we made the decision early on to go virtual, and we have vTREX. So just as virtual shows are new for most of you, it's also new for the NTA team, and I could not be prouder or more proud of the amazing job that our team has done. And we will continue to tidy up a few little last minute details for next week's show, but we're super excited about what we're bringing to you. And I also want to thank our longtime partner, Dave Sieben, and his amazing team at M Squared on Stage. Before I start, I also want to recognize our sponsors for vTREX. Thank you so much for helping us to make this possible. And with that, let's get right to it. And I want to introduce Dawn Pettis. She is our Vice President of Events, but she's also our vTREX Maestro. So Dawn, take it away.
Thank you, Catherine. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I think this is a very important step for having a successful vTREX, and so I appreciate you taking the time to attend this training and learn more about the platform and have an opportunity to ask any questions that you may have. I know you have questions, and so that's what we're here for today, and we will answer all of them. And so keep them coming. Just a couple of things. First of all, I am so excited that we can finally share with you what we've been working on for the last few months. This is so different from planning an in-person event. It's different from the attendee perspective as well. We've been working with our production team that has been with us for many years, M Squared on Stage, to find just the right platform. There are so many out there and so many good ones. We think we have found one that will work best for what we need to do for vTREX and give you a great experience. So we're excited to share that with you today. We had a bonus day earlier this week with education. We have a bonus day on Monday. If you have not already signed up for some of those activities, please do so. The things that we have going on Monday are some of our meetups. We have a YP meetup. We have a Young Professionals International and First Timer meetup, FTA meetup. So sign up for those if you have not. The links to those, I believe, were in the TREXpress issue that you should have received yesterday. We also have a GR bruncher on Monday. It's a great opportunity to hear from our lobbying firm Elevate about the recent election, some things that they're hearing in Washington, D.C. Catherine will also give an NTA update as well. We have a buyer happy hour that evening sponsored by Visit Clarksville. If you haven't seen that invitation, you will be getting more information about that. Also, we have Sales Mission and Best Pitch on Monday, and Best Pitch is our presentations from our international receptives and tourism organizations, and then Sales Missions are our domestic US and Canadian based DMOs and PMOs that will be presenting information to buyers in a group setting so that you can get information on selling a city, a region, or even a state. So hopefully you will be able to take part in all of that. We're going to get right to it with our platform, though. We want to show you a brief video that will walk you through the platform, and then we will actually go back and show you a couple of things specifically about appointments. If you have any questions, that's when we will start answering those. So Ashley, you can play that video, please.
Hello and welcome to the vTREX 2020 attendee tutorial. This tutorial will provide a brief overview of how to access the vTREX virtual event platform, attend sessions, participate in appointments, visit the sponsors, engage with other attendees, and explore resources. vTREX 2020 will utilize Pathable, a virtual event platform that creates opportunities for attendees, presenters, and sponsors to connect, interact, and share information remotely. The platform is optimized to be viewed using Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome browsers. However, other platforms may also be used. Prior to the conference, you will receive an invitation email from Pathable giving you access to the vTREX virtual event platform. The email will be sent from noreply@pathable.com. Please note that depending on the security settings associated with your email account, this invitation email may be directed to your junk email folder. The invitation email will contain a link that is personalized for you and will take you to the vTREX 2020 login page. There you will complete the registration process by creating your personal password and reviewing and updating your profile details, including your name, company, title, and credentials. You will also have the option to upload a profile photo and your professional bio. The Preferences settings offer you 2 more options. However, we do not recommend selecting these because doing so will prevent you from receiving meeting requests and messages from other attendees. After you complete your profile, you will always have the ability to modify it by going to the Account tab and selecting Edit My Profile to make any changes. After completing the registration process, you will be taken to the event homepage. The homepage contains event highlights and navigation links to useful information about the vTREX site and key areas of interest. The Schedule tab lists the full event agenda, including information about sessions and other activities. You have the option of creating your own personal schedule that will appear under the Schedule tab, then under My Schedule. Clicking on the blue plus sign on a session creates a green checkmark, indicating that the session is now listed in your personalized schedule. The schedule or individual sessions can also be exported to your email program. Also, under the Schedule tab, you will see Add a Meeting. This feature allows you to request and schedule a Zoom meeting with any person registered for vTREX. Please note that these are different than any of the scheduled buyer-seller appointments you are signed up for. In addition, meeting times will not be available during general sessions or brunchers and can only be made when both parties have mutually available time. The virtual TREX floor is the place to go to visit and learn about sponsors, associates and corporate and industry partners, and pay a visit to the Delta Lounge. As with an in-person event, vTREX wouldn't be possible without the generous support of all of our sponsors. Under Conversations, you will find a public forum to network and chat with your fellow attendees. Your personal inbox will display private messages sent from other attendees. In the People section, you will find information about speakers, fellow attendees, and NTA staff. You can also send private messages via the Send Message feature. NTA Central provides you links to NTA's Facebook page, Twitter feed, and a special feature, Talk to Todd. As with the in-person TREX event, Todd will be at NTA Central to answer your questions. The Resources tab provides additional and important information, including technical resources, FAQs, and vTREX 101, an informative video about making the most of your vTREX appointments. And while we hope you won't need this, the Help button allows you to contact support staff for technical and platform-specific assistance. If you need assistance, fill out the form in the bottom right corner of the page, and our support staff will contact you as quickly as possible. In the Account section, you will find links to edit your profile or organization settings. Next, we will go through a short overview of how to view sessions and events and how they will operate. To access sessions and events, select Schedule, then Full Schedule. Here, you will see all sessions and can select the sessions you want to attend. vTREX will be comprised of various formats of sessions and presentations. Some sessions, such as general sessions, will be live streamed and viewed through the Pathable video window. Other sessions will be conducted as either Zoom webinars or Zoom meetings. For these sessions, they will open in an external Zoom window. Whether they are live stream or Zoom session, most sessions will be presented as webinars, meaning they will be view only. You will be able to see and hear speakers and moderators and view their presentation materials, but your camera and microphone will be disabled. Some sessions may offer a live Q&A discussion. To participate in a Q&A discussion, you can submit your questions by typing them into either the live stream chat field or the Q&A field for Zoom webinars. Time permitting, the presenter or moderator will address your question and make it part of the discussion. Before we end this tutorial, we'd like to mention that things happen, such as accidentally closing your browser window. It's for that reason that we recommend that you bookmark the vTREX event page, ntavtrex2020.pathable.co. This will provide you quick access back to the event site. This concludes our tutorial. Thank you for taking time to learn about the features of the vTREX virtual event platform, and we wish you a successful vTREX 2020.
Thank you, Ashley. I know that that was a quick tutorial. It's very informative and very helpful, but I know that you still have questions. There are probably some things you'd like to see again. So what I would like to do is introduce you to our panel that we are going to have helping to answer questions for you today. We will then go back and show you a screenshot of the platform, particularly focusing on how appointments are going to work. I know that's probably a question on all of your minds. So let me introduce our panel for you today. First of all, we have Dave Sieben. Dave is with M Squared on Stage. He has been our longtime partner for all of our production and AV at Travel Exchange. So we are so thankful to be working with him and his team for vTREX. So welcome, Dave. We also have Mark Kilbride from M Squared on Stage. He really has touched every single part of our platform and built that for us. And so we appreciate his expertise. Thank you, Mark. Ashley Mills is with M Squared. She has been with us for several years at our on-site events as well. If you attend seminars, I know you've seen her in the seminar rooms, and she is, I think, the Zoom expert among us. So welcome, Ashley. And then from our staff, Todd Probus is our Director of Member Solutions, and Todd is our in-house appointment expert. Again, I'm Dawn. I am on the events team as well, so I can help answer any logistical questions or scheduling questions that you might have. So let's talk about the appointments for just a second before we go into the Q&A portion. Dave, if you don't mind to pull up the platform so that everyone can see that. So you have your appointment list. You're used to printing that from our appointment scheduling system, and you take that with you to Travel Exchange, and you know where the appointments are being held. You walk into the exhibit hall, and there they are. What do you do when you get to vTREX? Where are you going to take to get your appointment? So you probably printed your appointment schedule already, and that's great. You can keep that handy. But when you log into the vTREX platform, and you go to the schedule tab and you see full schedule and my schedule, you're going to go to my schedule, and any appointment that you have pre-scheduled from NTA with a buyer or seller will show up in your schedule within the platform. Now, these aren't going to be on here. They're not up yet, but by the time you get that email from Pathable tomorrow, all of your appointments will be loaded. To get to an appointment, again, you'll go to my schedule. If it is the first appointment of the day, you will click on that appointment. And if you are a seller, if you're a DMO, for example, you're going to click on that first appointment session. The operator will also have that exact same appointment show up on their schedule. So you're seeing the same appointment. When you click on that, it's going to take you into the room where you will meet with the tour operator or the seller. And Mark, jump in with any technical input here as well. I'm not explaining it probably from a technical perspective very well, but it will open up a new window, correct? A new browsing window, and put them in that appointment through Zoom.
Correct. So that countdown timer you see there, once that timer gets to 0, you'll see a Join Meeting Now button. And if you just click that, it will you'll join an actual Zoom meeting. An external Zoom meeting will pop up in a separate window, and each of the meetings will be set for 7 minutes, and that gives you, it's a 6-minute meeting with 1 minute to kind of get in and out of each meeting. You'll definitely want to keep your My Agenda page open, so we suggest keeping that a browser open, because you're going to constantly be going back to your My Agenda to access the next session.
So once that meeting ends, you will go back to your agenda, you will click on the next appointment that you have, and you will repeat the process. I know a lot of you are probably wondering, how do I know when my 6 minutes are up? A lot of different platforms do it different ways. What we have done for you, and you won't be able to see this, but I'll sponsored by Ocean City, Maryland, and they are responsible for setting that timer for 6 minutes before each appointment begins. And when that timer goes off, it is time to move on to the next appointment. Again, you have a minute to get in and out. If you go right back to your schedule, it should not take any time really to get into that next appointment. It is crucial for those appointments to end on time. That way, you know, you're not holding up the person behind you. Very similar to when you're standing there kind of over their shoulder on site. You're going to be waiting to get into the appointment with that operator. So any questions out there?
Don,
Yes.
I'll just pipe in real quick. I think I was still in screen share when you were holding up the timer.
Yeah, I didn't hold it up because I knew
Oh, okay.
but I will do that now. So this is what it looks like. So we appreciate Ocean City for providing those. If you're an operator and did not get one of these, let us know and we'll get one out to you immediately. So someone asked, how will we hear the timer if we're in the separate Zoom? So if the only people that would hear the timer are the 2 people that are in the appointment. So it is specific to that appointment. Does that make sense?
Don, if I may, I'll answer a question about will the appointments automatically close at 7 minutes? And the answer to that is no. That's the reason for the timer. It's really a self-monitored process here with all the appointments. So at 6 minutes, it gives you a minute to end that appointment and then move on to the next. And you'll find as you go through the process that closing and opening up a new meeting is a pretty quick process. Some people might think a minute isn't very much time, but we've seen through all of our exercises, our practices and the like that it will be, as long as you hold to 6 minutes. And so, yes, so to reiterate and answer somebody else's question, yes, you will have to keep track of your own time. We are without the benefit of Pat Henderson reminding us for when the appointments are over and the next ones begin. Question here, will appointments be listed in Eastern time, or they be listed in your time zone? They will be listed in your time zone. What happens when appointments don't close on time and meetings get delayed? Well, if you don't end an appointment on time, then yes, you will be late getting into the next appointment. You will either be late entering your next appointment or whoever the next appointment, the person you have an appointment with will be in the meeting or in the appointment waiting on you to join them. And so you can see how important it is to really kind of manage the time process, because it can snowball pretty quickly to start affecting a lot of people as the day goes on. But the appointment will start on, if somebody's in the room and the appointment time has begun, then the meeting is going on, and there's no extending that time beyond the scheduled end time.
So Dave, we have a question in chat about someone wanting to know about gaining access to the platform. So again, sometime tomorrow, you will get an email from Pathable that will give you your unique credentials to get into that site. And once you do that, you can get in and start playing around, updating or editing your profile, looking at the schedule. You absolutely can play around with your own schedule. If you click on the full schedule option, that will show you everything that's happening during vTREX. And there's going to be a little plus sign beside that session. So if it's the general session on Tuesday, you're going to see a plus sign beside that. You can click on that, and when you do, it will turn that to a green check mark, and that means it has been added to your individual schedule. So anything that you see that you want to do. Yep, thanks, Dave. Let's show. So now Dave is clicking that he wants to attend the vTREX welcome session. And when he goes into my schedule, that's going to appear. So anything that you want to make sure that you attend will show up in your personal schedule.
Here's an easy one. Will all meetings be on Zoom? Yes, with the exception of the opening general sessions. That's going to be a direct live stream feed that you'll see. It will, all the buttons leading to it will all be there on the site. We're streaming those as a live stream just because of some of the elements involved there. But other than that, everything else will be launched in a Zoom window, whether it's a webinar or a Zoom meeting. And you'll have all the familiar features and function sets that you might normally see in a Zoom meeting or webinar, but that's also partially based on what features are enabled for a given session.
I saw a question from someone about sharing a screen or a profile. You can do that. Mark, I'll let you talk to that about how they can share information during that meeting.
Yeah, when you're in your meeting, you can definitely share your screen to share information, as well as on the session detail page. There's a chat box. You can leave messages. You can include files if there's pertinent PDFs that you want to share with your other attendee. And you can also take notes right there in the platform. So each session has a notes field. So if you are taking notes throughout your sessions and meetings, and then you can download those at the end of each day.
What website do I use to log in? Here again, you will be receiving a personalized email. Everyone will. It has a personalized token for your registration, your profile, and that is what will direct you to the website. Again, as noted in the video, you'll finish setting up your profile. You can bookmark the page, which we highly recommend, so you can go back to it at any time. So you don't have to go through any kind of emails to find the link, etc. It's always waiting. Don or Todd, do you want to answer the question about someone in a virtual meeting with an operator and well, no, someone is waiting for their appointment? What if someone goes over their time? How do I tell them to move on?
I think as nicely as possible is probably the best answer for that.
But in a way, you really can't. If the question is, how do I go into an existing meeting and tell them you need to end so I can now talk to this operator? Unfortunately, you cannot.
Yeah, each meeting or each appointment is going to be a separate Zoom meeting. So once your timer goes off and that meeting ends, we would just ask you to close out of Zoom, go back to your My Agenda, and click the link to your next appointment.
Yeah, as we've all heard a lot this year, now more than ever, we're all in this together in terms of monitoring the time. So we all need to be self-monitoring the appointment schedule, the time, your provided sponsor-provided timer, using a stopwatch or countdown clock on your phone, any kind of an app you may have. There's a lot of different ways you can keep track of time, but it is really going to be dependent upon every operator and supplier is tracking their own time. When the meeting starts, watch for that 6-minute mark, however it is that you're going to have it indicated to you.
And on this timer, Dave, someone asked about how to reset the timer. It automatically, once it goes off, it resets itself back to the whatever you programmed it for. So if you set it for 6 minutes, it goes off, you hit stop, it automatically sets it back to 6 minutes. You just have to hit start and stop. That's all you have to do once you set it to 6 minutes. There was another, oh, and these were sent to the tour operators, not the suppliers.
Philip, was there a question that you were going to answer? I thought I saw you say something about that.
I typed it in,
Okay,
but
very good.
sessions that were recorded on November 10th, those will be up on the ntatravelexchange.com website fairly soon.
Okay, thank you.
And someone asked if timers were sent to Canadians and internationals as well. And if they are an appointment taking buyer, yes. And that was for people who had registered as of last week. So if you've registered within the last week, we will still need to get one out to you, and we'll do that today. There's just a couple, I think, so.
Another question about time zones. Again, your schedule will indicate the time in your time zone. We built everything. We're here on the East Coast. We built everything on Eastern time, of course. But again, the program, the platform automatically accounts for the time zone you are in. Now, Mark, just I guess maybe we should clarify that. That is also based on the assumption that the device you are working on is set to that time zone. It's not pulling off of a local clock somehow.
That's a good question, Dave. It probably is using your system clock, but the times will, but the schedule will be intact. So when the information coming from your system clock, if it says that the session starts at 10 a.m., then that is your start time.
Very similar to, you might send out a meeting request, let's say an Outlook meeting invite, and you schedule it for 10 o'clock Eastern time, but your recipient that you're inviting is, let's say in California, 3 hours difference. Well, they're gonna, when they load that into their calendar, it's gonna show up at 7 o'clock Pacific time. So again, your system, if it's set that way to your local time, will automatically adjust.
And there's another question in here. Yes, the countdown timer will count down to your local time.
Mm-hmm. I have some questions here about sales missions being confirmed. Dawn, is that a you or Todd question, I would think?
Yes, so if you are a presenter, a DMO, or a supplier and presenting in a sales mission, you will get your list of tour operator attendees today with the link that will take you into your mission. If you are a tour operator who has signed up for a sales mission, you will get your schedule today, as well as your the links to get into each one. That we'll be conducting those through Zoom on Monday. So you will just, when it's time for the first sales mission, you'll click on the link affiliated with that one. If they're 20 minutes in length, and at the end of the 20 minutes, we'll close that out. There's 5 minutes to get into the next one. And then you'll click on that link and we'll start that process again. So if you're waiting on a schedule, you will get that today, later this afternoon.
Hey, Don, while we're coming through other questions, I am going to go ahead, if you don't mind. I'm going to come back here to my screen share, and I'm going to show the add a meeting feature. I'm sure a lot of people will be very interested in this. In addition to, your full schedule, of course, your My Schedule. If you have some open time and there's somebody you'd like to maybe meet with, you can add a meeting. So here, for instance, let's say I want to add a meeting, let's say with Philip Strunk, NTA. I'm going to go select him, and I'm going to come over here and choose an available date and time right now. And again, as noted in the tutorial, this is based upon mutually available time. So what this is showing me right now for today, there's only one available time slot that both Philip and I can meet based on our schedules in the platform. So I'm going to select that time, and I'll just put my name in and say, why I want to meet. and send the invitation, and off we go. Now, what's going to happen here is not only will this be set up in the platform, but once you're registered in the platform, you will also receive an email into your email account, the account that you registered with. So you'll have an email, let's say if it's an Outlook, you'll have an email come in there. You can populate your current Outlook calendar with that email invitation. And it will also be here under your My Schedule within the Pathable platform. So you see now, here's my meeting with Philip Strunk. I can come in and I can also chat with him here. I could maybe make some notes. I could manage, say I want to, I could maybe add a file there if I wanted to send him something. I could also edit here, and let's say edit, you know what, I want to ask, I think Dawn Pettit needs to come in here as well. So I could type in Dawn's name, find her, and Dan Burns, sorry. Let's try this again. Okay, and so there she is. I'm going to add her. So now she is in the mix. So I'm going to save this. Save this. Dawn will also now receive an email. And I come back to my schedule again, and you'll see that this meeting now includes Philip and Dawn. So again, this is just a nice little feature that you can go and find some other meetings, maybe find a time to meet with somebody here through the platform. And again, as noted, this will not be available during general sessions, and it only allows you to schedule meetings with someone based on your mutually available time. So if you have an appointment scheduled with an operator or supplier, and you at a given time, you will not be able to schedule a meeting over that same time. I hope that makes sense.
The appointments will have video and sound. It will be just like a Zoom meeting that you're used to having. So both audio and video. And yes, we will record all the education sessions. Those will be available through the site after the show. So if you did not get to attend those live, you can go back and listen to those later.
Mark, somebody asked if they'd be able to load a video in their profile.
Unfortunately, you cannot load a video directly in your profile, but you can add, in addition to your name, your title, company information, any credentials, you can add a bio, professional bio, and in that bio, you could have some hyperlinks out to some external videos. But there's no way to embed a video directly into your profile.
And Mark, can you answer the question about if they can download a report with the attendees and their contact information?
So everybody, all attendees within the platform can reach out in a number of different ways and interact. You can set up these add meetings like Dave just demonstrated. You can send anyone in like an instant message, a private instant message. But as of right now, there hasn't been created a full attendee directory for download. If that's something that NTA feels like you want to make available, we could make that available through the platform. Right now, most of the interaction, it happens on the platform. So if you set up a meeting with someone though, during say business hours during the week, we're going to set that from, I believe, 7 a.m. in the morning Eastern to 8 p.m. So anytime between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m., with the exception of the general session times, you'll be free to set up as many meetings as you want to.
Sorry, the added meetings would occur in Zoom as well. That will open up a Zoom window if you add a meeting to your schedule.
Correct. We'll be utilizing Zoom for a majority of the sessions and private meetings, with the exception of some of the kickoff general sessions, and some of the entertainment events will be live streamed, which is a video that'll play directly in the Pathable browser. And we do that so that we get some really high quality video and audio for those sessions.
We will not record your individual appointments, your one-on-one appointments. Michael, if that's the question that you're answering, those will not be recorded. Just the education and the sessions that we're presenting.
And the education sessions, the ones that will be recorded, those will be available on demand. So within a couple hours of each session concluding, if you go back on your agenda, back into that same session details, if you missed a session, you weren't able to attend, you can always go back even after the conference and go back and watch all of that information and all of those sessions on demand.
This webinar is being recorded, so we will make that available both on our website, and we'll also send that out to all registered attendees. There were a lot of people who were not able to join us today or yesterday, so we want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to view this. We'll also have the video that Ashley played earlier also available as just a separate piece. If you just want to go back and watch that again, you may do that.
I have a question for the M² folks, and it's been asked in the chat. So when someone uses the add a meeting feature to request more of a spontaneous meeting, I guess you could say, is there a pending phase? Does the recipient have to accept it or respond before
Yes.
it's added to the calendar, or does it automatically show up on the calendar?
It does. It'll pre-populate in your calendar to show that you've blocked out that time. But Dave, if you go back to that last meeting you set up, you'll see that Dave has a check mark next to his name. And in this particular instance, I have not accepted this meeting until, so it is a temporary meeting until both parties agree to the meeting, and then it becomes finalized.
But you see it in my schedule here. It's there. The question mark means it's pending.
And so Mark, if you were to, when you respond to Dave's meeting request, is there a way for you to add a note to your response, any sort of message to say, could we meet tomorrow afternoon instead, or?
Yeah, so
Something to
Dave,
that
if you go
effect?
up to the little notification bell in the top right-hand corner, so this is where notifications will come in that meetings have been set up, they've been canceled, or someone has accepted a meeting. So that notification area is where you're going to see that information. Once the meeting is set up, every meeting on the platform has this details page here. So this is where you can go and upload files if there's specific PDFs you want to share with the other attendee. You can chat, so you can have ongoing discussions about anything pertinent to the meeting. And all of that information will remain here. So you can always go back to it. It'll still be on your agenda after the meeting happens. So you can always go back in. At the top there, you'll see that notes field. So if you want to jot down some notes during the meeting, and then on your agenda, at the top of your My Agenda, there's a place to not only add the meetings to your personal calendar, to your Outlook or Google Calendar, but then you can also download your notes there.
And then one other question about that, Mark. So Dave has requested that meeting with you. Before you respond, does that mean that he's locked into that meeting request? In other words, he can't request a meeting with someone else until you actually decline it, correct?
Correct. And then he could always go through what he was showing earlier, is he can edit that meeting or delete it or rescind the offer if I don't answer in time. So yeah, there's a lot of flexibility on how to set these up, the scale, whether they're one-to-one private meetings. If something happens and someone does run late or misses one of their pre-scheduled appointments, you could always go in and try to reschedule that appointment later in the day. So you do have a lot of flexibility with this meeting creator. And Dave, if you go into our people section and click on one of our event sponsors, you'll see the 3 dots beside each of the names. And this is somebody was asking, how do you reach out and get information? So here you could go in and view somebody's profile. You can add them to a want to meet list. So you could quickly go through and make a list of all the people on the platform that you'd like to eventually send a meeting to or a meeting request to. You can send them a private message. And then you could also go through the process and request a meeting.
Just like that.
So
Also send a
someone,
message.
so because these meetings, these private meetings that you're setting up, since those are created through Pathable and Pathable's Zoom account, we can't easily or readily get the recordings of those meetings. You may be able to record a version locally if you want to record that session. But if you record to the cloud, it's not something that we're going to be able to grab for you. So I hope that answers your question about recording meetings.
We also had a question from someone about how long will the platform or will the platform remain live after the show so that you can go in and listen to recordings. We haven't decided exactly how long we'll leave it out there. It can stay out there for up to a year. I don't know that we need to leave it up for quite that long, but it's not something that you have to go in the next week after the show to be able to listen to a seminar. There will be plenty of time for that. So it will be out there for a while.
In most cases, we'll monitor activity and interest, and that will usually determine when we'll go ahead and close the site down.
So someone is asking if someone else can register or log in with your registration and sub in for a few appointments. There's a couple different ways based on security concerns. We're going to set up the platform where only one person can be registered at a time. So you can access the platform on your laptop or desktop, your tablet, and your mobile device. The platform it's a responsive website, so it is viewable on your mobile devices. If you do choose to go that route, I would recommend go ahead and downloading the Zoom application on your tablet or mobile device. And we definitely recommend updating your browser. Pathable is optimized to run on Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. You can run the application or the platform on other browsers, but we have seen some issues. So we definitely recommend using Chrome or Edge. And you're not required to download Zoom, but it is we would recommend it. It's a free application. And go ahead, and if you already have Zoom, I would recommend go ahead and updating your browser and your Zoom application.
And links to all those are going to be listed under the resources tab there on the site. Somebody asked a question somewhat related to that, Mark, about what happens should they lose internet access, let's say on their primary device, computer. Can they still go and log in, let's say, with their cell phone? And yes, as Mark was just explaining, you can do that.
Yeah, and if something happens on the platform, sometimes just a refresh of your page will solve a lot of issues, because there's so much of this information that's dynamically generated. There are hiccups from time to time, so refreshing your page will usually solve any issues that you come across. And I would say probably 95% of the problems that we've had attendees have with other programs largely centers around not using the proper browser. So if you're not using Chrome or Edge, I definitely would recommend grabbing those.
Also linked to that topic is a recommendation that whenever possible, use a hardwired internet connection. Wireless has come a long way. It's great speeds, great coverage, but wired is always better.
Someone's asking about meeting notes. Your meeting notes, when you take those for for any of the sessions, those are private to you only. The other attendee will not see your notes. And like I said, at the top of your My Agenda page, you can download those at the end of the day or at the end of the conference.
Just to reiterate too about the time zone question, if you go onto the NTA site to print your appointment schedule, or you look at our vTREX site to look at the schedule for the week, everything there will be in the Eastern time zone. That's where our offices are located, so everything is based on that. But once you get into the platform, it will regulate itself to your time zone. So all of your appointments that are loaded onto the platform would then be in your own time zone. Mark, there's a question about joining a meeting with a colleague if both of them are signed up to take appointments and the supplier agrees, and this is from a tour operator, if they both want to sit in on an appointment. Unless we tell the system to do that in advance, they can't, or can they add someone to their meeting? I guess is the question.
If there's special requests for that, I would say let's communicate that to Don today. Once the meetings are set, it's going to be challenging to try to add folks to those meetings after the fact. Not that it can't be done, but if we could take care of those requests today, that would probably be preferred.
But if they both have their own set of appointments, we wouldn't want to do that, right? Because is it all or nothing? Is it they either have the same schedule as their colleague, or they have separate schedules?
That would probably be preferred, just because I think it would be, just from a management point of view, it'd probably be easier to deal with that way. But if there are, if people want to co-host a meeting together, we can definitely facilitate that.
Okay. The easiest thing to do is probably to set up a separate meeting, one of those add-a meetings, and then you can invite as many people as you want, would be my advice on that.
Someone asked a question, apologize if it's already answered, about if they happen to be offline. I assume they mean if they're off the Pathable platform, will they get an email if someone has requested a meeting with me? The answer is yes. Okay, what else we have here? Any new ones?
And just to reiterate, I just received an email from someone who's, I think, already trying to log on to the system. They need to wait until they receive that official invitation via email tomorrow. Even if they have the web address that Ashley shared earlier, it still won't load correctly until they receive that actual invitation.
Correct. Yeah, that we haven't officially launched the page. That will happen in the morning. You should anticipate getting your invitation, your personalized invitation, tomorrow afternoon. And we want to do that just to give everybody plenty of time to log in, get your profile set, make sure that all the details are correct, and then just spend some time exploring the site. I'll be on hand once we launch, so I will be assisting anybody that has any issues. Our help desk email address, that will come to me. So if you're having issues either accessing the page or something's not making sense, reach out and we'll work through those issues with you. During the actual show days, we've also got some dedicated support with our partners at Pathable, and that little help feature in the bottom corner you saw in the video. Any questions you ask there will go straight to our technical support staff as well.
So there was a question in the Q&A, Dave, about will there be a single clock on the screen so that we know the actual time? Is there any kind of a clock? I know there's not a timer. Is there any kind of a clock at all within the system?
Currently, there isn't a clock on the page, but the countdown timers are synced in each of the meeting rooms. So when the timer, because that is sent out from Pathable servers, it keeps all of the sessions synced. So you won't be able to get into your meetings early, but as soon as that timer strikes 0, immediately your join meeting button will appear and you can automatically enter that session.
Yeah, that is one feature, unfortunately, that we were hoping would be available by this time, but it isn't something that's been requested to have some kind of a system-wide reference point clock, if you will. But so far, no. But like Mark said, at least all of the sessions are in sync with respect to their start times.
We had a question: if somebody needs to cancel an appointment, is there a way that they can let the other person know? You know, you can reach out. Like I said, you can send anyone on the platform a private instant message. And if you know you're not going to be able to make an appointment and you have time, definitely reach out and let that person know so they can plan accordingly.
But if it was an appointment that was generated through the NTA appointment system, neither we nor the M² folks could go in and cancel that appointment from your schedule. You would just need to communicate that beforehand.
Mm-hmm. What else? I'll go ahead and take this little quiet time to mention one more thing, and that is about naming yourself, your camera name in Zoom. This is not only in yesterday's session, but today's as well, with so many attendees. It's amazed that looks like at this time, everybody has their name entered in correctly. A lot of times we'll get just these mystery names. It'll maybe be a set of numbers, especially if somebody's using a phone, or it could be pulling a computer name, you know, BRT40, whatever the case may be. But it looks like everybody here is very knowledgeable about making sure their screen name is entered in correctly. So just enables everybody to be identified if necessary. So that's an easy topic to discuss with everybody here. So kudos.
Someone was asking about the contact info again. You can certainly ask for that in the meeting. We can put together a PDF. Typically, you would get an on-site guide with that information in it. Of course, we're not doing that this year, but we can create something in a PDF with that information and send it out.
What else here?
So there's a question about can a meeting be extended if both appointees have no scheduled meetings after the current one? We found that although the meetings don't auto close when they end, there is about a 10-minute buffer period, and they will automatically close after that. So you would have a couple minutes that you could stay in that meeting room before you would automatically be kicked out.
I don't know, Don, I don't see any more questions.
I don't either. Either they can't think of any more, they'll think of some later. If you think of questions after we get off of this Zoom, if you're like me, you'll start thinking about it and wish that you had asked something. Feel free to reach out to us. Any staff person can be reached at our firstname.lastname@NTA staff. And we would be happy to answer any questions that you have.
So again, and I'll just reiterate one more time, our goal is to send all the invitations out tomorrow. It will come from Pathable. As Ashley noted, be on the lookout. In all likelihood, it's going to go into your junk email folder. And if after it goes out, in fact, Don, aren't you going to send a message? And maybe you said it earlier, and if so, I apologize for not picking up on it, but you're going to send a message out directly to all attendees that the emails have gone out.
Yes, we will.
We're going to get 2 notifications.
Yes, so you'll get one from NTA headquarters saying that the Pathable email has gone out, and that you can now log into the system. And you will get the email from Pathable as well. We did have an issue of TREXpress go out yesterday, and I've been hearing from several people that said that they have not gotten that or some other communications that we've sent out. Please check your spam folder. It is very likely that a lot of our communications to you are going to that. If you're not getting Tuesday newsletter, if you're not getting TREXpress or emails from NTA headquarters, you're missing out on a lot of information that we really need for you to have. So you can whitelist our email address so that that doesn't happen. You can mark us as not junk. I know sometimes it may seem that we send out a lot of information, but it truly is things, especially this time of year, that you absolutely need to know. So check your spam folders, and you may find it there. But yes, so we will let you know when that email goes out, and then also you'll get the email.
And I'm going to add in the chat here, someone was asking for the whitelist, what they can, this is the address, no reply or no dash reply at pathable.com is where the email will originate from.
Yeah, so you could take preventative measures. Great point, Mark, and thank you to whitelist that in advance, so it'll come right to your inbox.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked a question about at the conclusion of the appointment that they will have to push a join meeting button. At the end, you will, just like a typical Zoom meeting, you will click on the leave meeting button, head over to my agenda, find your next appointment, and there you'll click on the join meeting button there.
And if you do have dual monitors, I would suggest keeping the Pathable application open and your browser on one monitor, and then you could have your Zoom meeting in the other, because you will be jumping between the two throughout those sessions.
Yes.
I don't see any other questions. I thank you all so much for attending this training session. I think it will be extremely helpful once you get in and start playing around with the system. I think you'll feel a little bit more comfortable. It's a very intuitive platform, I believe, but if you get in and have any trouble at all, we are just an email away. Thank you, Dave, Mark, and Ashley, for being here with us today and yesterday. We appreciate you sharing your expertise with us. Todd, thank you for being on this panel with us as well. We look forward to seeing you all online next week. Thank you very much.
Thanks all.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Goodbye.